I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must run this way. If the dog palm, mess around, find out, If the dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better cough a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better cough a hill, cause I'm like that. Mess around, find out.
What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show. Hope everybody's having a good start to the week so far. Tonight, we have a returning guest, clutch points rider for the Detroit Pistons, none other than Eric Vincent, a.k.a. E-Vinny. Eric, welcome back to the show, bro.
It's good, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for having me on. You all right?
Good, man. It's been a little minute, bro. What you been up to this offseason?
I'm chilling, man. I'm enjoying the time off. I had a good time in Summer League out in Vegas. That was a good time being out there, enjoying the vibe.
I need the footage. I need the footage.
Yeah, I can give you some of the footage. I can't give you everything out there,
Just a little bit.
It was a good time, though, man. Had fun. Met up with Ron Holland's dad out there watching one of the games where they played against Houston.
Shout out Chef Ron.
Yeah, shout out to Big Ron. But it's been a good time, man. It's been a fun off season so far, for sure.
So, look, tonight we are going to talk Eastern Conference rankings regarding individual players and regarding teams as a whole. It's been a lot of discourse, a lot of different ranks and things coming out lately. So we're going to jump into that. We're going to start with the top 10 players in the East heading into next season. There was an actual article that went out, NBA.com writer Sean Powell. He dropped his official list of the top 10 players in the East. So we are going to pull up that list. Eric, I know you had some thoughts about this list. We're going to kind of go into this individually and kind of see what Eric thinks about this because he had some thoughts about this. So I know you dropped a recent video talking about this, breaking this down. So make sure you guys go check that out after you watch this episode. But for this list, we're not including players who are out for the season or for next season, guys like JT, Jason Tatum, and Halliburton. There's going to be a future video coming out with that. But before we get started, Eric, I just want to kind of say this first. Now, I hate to do this. I just keep going back to 2021, that draft.
Okay.
There were so many people that felt that Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, even Jalen Green were going to have better careers than Cade.
This is a fact.
It's very quiet now. It's almost like it didn't even happen.
You didn't heard none of that chirping. I like going on Raptors Twitter just to see what they're talking about now. I even shout out to the Rockets. I mean, you parlayed Jalen Green into Kevin Durant. Shout out to y'all, but hey, was y'all spicy in 2021? That conversation is dead now.
Listen, bro. Evan Mobley is a good player.
Yeah.
He may be a great player someday, but he's been surpassed by Cade as an overall player, and nobody's really even doubting that. Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the Year. Nowhere to be found or even sniffing this list. Maybe even top 10 to 15, 20 players in this list. And then, like you said, Jalen Green, after 4 years being with his team that drafted him, he's not even there anymore. And it's not because he didn't want to be there. So I'm going to just leave that there. I know, we went through the ringer for saying K was going to have the best career out of those guys. And now it's just super duper quiet right now.
Crazy how that plays out. And that
just had to call that out.
Yeah. I mean, those are good players, but it's cool to now know that it's a gap between, like, people say, oh, it's close. Maybe they would say, no. Like, at this point, after what Cade did last season, there's gaps in these conversations, and I can't wait to peel them back in this convo.
It's levels. I know you got a lot to say. So let's start with the top 10. We'll bring that chart back up. And what I need you to do, Eric, is just basically when you hear a name that doesn't belong in the spot where it is, just stop me. And then we'll just go from there. All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go for it.
So let's start with the top 10, starting with number 10, Trae Young. Okay, we get into it early.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him at 10. I would have him a little bit higher.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect. I respect where Trae Young is as a young point guard, as a smaller point guard. I think he's one of the better playmakers in the game. I would have him a little bit higher. I have my own list. Like I kind of broke mine down. So I don't know if you want me to give my numbers now or like what do you want me to do?
Yeah. So who do you have at 10? Let's start with 10. Who do you have at 10?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So for me, I got Jaylen Brown at 10 right now.
Okay.
I think he's at 10. I like his game, but I feel like he can rise a lot more based on the situation he's in now, not having Jason Tatum. He's one of those guys where people think, okay, well, if he's in a different situation, what would he look like as the guy of the team? We're going to find out now going into next season. So, again, I like Boston. I like Jaylen Brown's game, but for now, I would have him at number 10 on my list.
So did he rise or fall for you from where he was before? Like, do you feel like this season it's going to be a season to where he actually shows he can be a guy? Yeah. And that's why you have him as high as 10? Or is it like he's not going to do that? He's dropping to 10.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of fought back and forth between him and LaMelo. I think LaMelo's still just kind of mad slept on. I almost put him there at 10 just because I like his ability to, be a stretch player, scorer, and a playmaker.
Right.
I'll give it to Jaylen Brown just off his accolades and his resume off of what he's done so far. And I think he's gonna have more of an opportunity right now with Tatum off the floor. So yeah, I just think
sure
goes up a little bit.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I like JB. I like JB at 10. Mm-hmm. Let's get back to the list. Who do you have at 9? They have Karl Anthony Towns at 9.
I understand that. I put Evan Mobley right there.
Okay.
I don't think they're too I have not to skip it, but I got Cade at 8 and I got Mobley at 9. I just think Cade's involvement as a game. Again, I like where Mobley is going to. I think his offensive game has really stepped up a lot.
Respect.
But while Evan Mobley is a good defender, I still don't think he's just the most elite or the best defender among bigs, because I've still seen him get pushed around a lot with his small frame.
Not strong enough yet.
I can't give him the nod against some of these other stars that are already established. Guys like Cat, some other guys I got listed ahead of him. So I will put him at 9, which I think is pretty safe and respectable.
Okay. So you got him at 9. Okay. So you're not a hater.
I can't hate.
Let's go to 8. So here they have Jaylen Brown at 8. You had him at 10. So who do you have at 8?
Yeah, 8, I got Karl Anthony Towns. He showed me a lot in the postseason. I almost put him up at 7 to be for real, but I just want to keep him down a little bit just because he still struggles as a defender. And he can be a little streaky offensively as well. So I got him at 8 right now. Still one of the most dynamic scoring bigs in the game. I think he can repeat a lot of what he did last season with the Knicks. Yeah, I'll give him his respect. I got him at 8 right now.
By the way, chat, chime in. Let us know your thoughts with these picks. Let us know who you have for your top 10, all of it. Let's make sure that we get everybody who wants to be here part of the conversation.
Yes.
So let's keep it moving. Number 7, they have, so it's like they got a lot of the same guys you have, just in reverse order. So at 7, they have Mobley. So who do you have?
At 7, I put Trae Young up there.
Okay.
Again, I think he's done a lot in his career. I still think he can be even better as soon as next season. I kind of like a little bit of the outlook for the Hawks. I like Trae Young again. He's a really underrated playmaker and one of the best in basketball. Still a dangerous shooter. Can be a little bit inefficient, but I still think he's a dangerous scorer. And I think when he has the proper tools around him and when his team isn't injured, you see how good and how dangerous he can be. So, yeah, I like Trae Young at 7 right now.
With the moves they made this year, I think he can have one of his better years in his career. Because the guys, they got the two-way guys over there. And Jalen Johnson is going to be nice, bro. Dyson Daniels, they got over there. You know what I mean? So they got Porzingis over there now, so they got more side. Like, if they can stay healthy, I think they can really help him defensively. You know what I mean?
Agree.
Which can help him offensively. So I like him at 7. I like him. I think that's a sneaky pick.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the teams and kind of their outlook as well. I think the Hawks can be a lot better than people think, but yeah,
I agree.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, nice little teaser. All right, number 6, they have Joel Embiid. Who do you have at 6?
You funny. I got Paolo at 6 for right now.
Okay.
I think I love him. He's my second favorite player in the NBA to watch. But I think he's getting a little too much pub right now. Like I don't like some of the people that he's ahead of right now. he deserves to be in the top 10 discussion. I think he could be a sneaky pick for MVP, like a dark horse option, just depending on how the Orlando Magic do. But for right now, before the season gets here, coming off the injuries he's had, I've seen the conversations from Magic Twitter where they arguing about who their real number one is between him and Franz. So I can't sit here and say he's better than some of these other certified number ones that are on this list. So I would put him at number 6 right now.
Do you have a player comp for him?
Yeah, for sure. I think his ceiling is Blake Griffin when he was with the Pistons. I think that's exactly who he is. I feel like his game, his size, it's very similar. He has the ability to play make like Blake did. They put a lot of the offense in his hand. People call him Carmelo. I didn't really like that.
I didn't really see that either.
Yeah, he don't have the footwork and the offensive skill set of Melo.
The finesse,
for right now, he's still like LA Clipper Blake Griffin, who has a little bit of footwork and tenacity to his game, but it's more of his raw athletic skill set that gets him that production. So as he gets older, again, I believe Blake's best form was when he was with the Pistons, and I think that would be a great player for him to evolve into in his ceiling with the Magic.
I like that comp, bro, because you think about offensively, he's ahead of where Blake was with the Clippers. Right. But he's not the athlete that Blake was with the Clippers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the Detroit version of Blake is perfect. I think that's a really, really accurate count. That's okay. If he when Blake was here, I think he was top 5 or 6 in MVP one of those years, and he was here.
There it is.
So that lines up with what's number 6 you have here for Paolo. So I'm not mad at that. I like that.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move on to number 5. C2. They have Cade Cunningham at 5. Who do you have at 5? We're gonna talk about, we're gonna get into it deeper later, but who do you have for 5, first of all?
Not Cade. Cade should not be a number 5 at all. I got Joel Embiid right there. He is a troll. I'm not the biggest fan of his game. I almost put him a little bit higher. But coming off an injury and some of the issues that we've seen from the Sixers, I couldn't put him above some of the other guys on my list. But he is still a former MVP, one of the more dominant scorers in the NBA. When he's locked in and he's not on BS, he's dangerous, like from all 3 levels of the floor, and even on defense too, when he's obviously on the floor. But obviously, with his injuries being such a problem and some other things, I have a hard time elevating him, higher than where he is now. So I would stick at 5 until he shows otherwise.
Okay, I think that's fair, bro. Because like when he's healthy, bro, he could push to be like prime Embiid can push to be number 1 when he's healthy. For sure. I know you're not a big fan of his mid-range game and all that, but his handles and everything. But when he's healthy, it's not a lot of guys. I mean, there were talks about just a couple years ago of him and Jokic, who was the MVP just a couple years ago. So, but unfortunately, he's not that guy as far as health is concerned. I just saw a report today. I think it was an AP report. They said that he's not going to be ready for training camp. He's not going to play in the preseason. And his knee is in bad shape. Still. Yep. So that's unfortunate. So I think 5 is fair because you're still giving him credit for the talent that he is. Right. But at the same time, you can't really, and his availability hasn't been there either. So it's hard to really, rank these guys in the top 5 when they haven't even played half a season.
Yeah, I'm happy that convo between him and Joker is over. I got it based on the time, but we've seen Jokic, elevate guys, get to MVP production for the past 3-4 seasons, whether he wanted it or not. And he's doing it when guys are taken away. He did it with Russell Westbrook on his team as one of his primary guys. So Embiid needs more help around him. And I don't see that exact same necessity for Jokic, which makes it clearing at this point. So,
but, I think that's fair.
If he shows otherwise, again, at his peak, he's still extremely dangerous, but he got a little bit to show for right now.
That Jokic conversation, Embiid's a better talent, but Jokic is a better team player far and away. And I think that's the difference. Individually, just go get a bucket. I think Embiid is one of the best we've ever seen when he's healthy. But as far as winning, I think that's where Jokic kind of separates himself. So different conversation for another day, but I definitely want to comment on that for sure. So you have Embiid at 5. So they have Paolo here at 4. Who do you have at 4? I thought that was a little high, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I was shocked about that. I thought he would have been a little bit lower down. For me, I got Donovan Mitchell right there. I think he's a very good player. I kind of talked about this on my last video on Top Title Detroit. I like Donovan Mitchell's game. I personally don't consider him a superstar. I think Cleveland has a collection of 4 or 3 all-stars, and I don't really look at Donovan Mitchell as a superstar. He's a great scorer, one of the best in the league. But for me, you have to be like an award winner, like MVP, All-Star, a championship level player, while being elite at two different things. And I don't see Donovan Mitchell being elite at two different things. He's an elite scorer. He's a good shooter. He's a good passer when he has to be, but he's not elite in those levels. Definitely not an elite defender. So for me, I don't consider him a superstar. I do think he's a really good player. Never thought he was a superstar in Utah, but I do think he is a good star for the Cavaliers, and I think he's the number 4 best player in the East.
So D Mitch at 4. Okay. Yep. I'm not mad at that. I mean, I'm definitely with you. I don't have him. Well, I mean, I think 4 is fair. I think 4 is fair for sure. Like you mentioned, he's very talented. Like you mentioned, he was a bucket getter with the Jazz and the Cavs. I think he's easily one of the most gifted athletes in the game right now. But the thing we always talk about with Cade is his ability to make others around him better.
Absolutely.
Doing more with less, right? Check this out. You swap out Cade with D Mitch, and I think that Pacers series looks different.
100%.
I don't think they lose in 5 just because of how Cade is able to impact the game if he had weapons like that at this point. I think we have the weapons to get there. But I think had he had those weapons at that point, having Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, 2 lob threats there, and then you got Darius Garland. Yeah, I think that could get ugly. Max Strus, who's a knockdown shooter, I think that would be a little bit of a different series. And I just think it goes to Cade's ability to impact the game and impact others around him. So I think that's what separates him from D Mitch at this point.
And he doesn't need to have that responsibility playing next to another all-star in Darius Garland. And even with Evan Mobley, again, he was, for the first few seasons, kind of just known as a defensive guy. He really stepped up offensively in terms of being a catch-and-shoot guy, a three-point shooter. Like, I was really impressed by a lot that I saw from him offensively last season. So I think that kind of lends to the ability for Donovan Mitchell to be who he is. Cade obviously is in a different conversation, and we're going to talk about him in just a second. But yeah, I think 4 is probably the safest place for Mitchell, to be honest.
I think that's fair. Fair. Let's go to 3. That's where they have Donovan Mitchell. So who do you have at 3? Let's get to it.
I wish some New York Knicks were here right now. I went back and forth on this. I've really been going back and forth on these two all off season. I'm putting Brunson here at 3. Wow. I'm putting Brunson as the 3rd best player, and I'm not mad at anybody disagrees. If you to me, when you rank people and you rank players and teams, I think people should have like a range for where they could be. Could you make an argument that Brunson is the 2nd best player in the East? Sure. I think he could be 2 or 3, maybe 4, depending on what the conversation is. But I think 2 or 3 is the safest for him. But to me, again, I'll just stick with what I see from Brunson. Again, one of the best scorers in the game, one of the best clutch players in the game, as we obviously saw the postseason. A very underrated playmaker as well. And again, based on a team that he plays on with the Knicks, where they don't really rely on a lot of depth, it was really on a lot of what he was able to carry and what Cat was able to do and what Bridges was able to do. He really delivered as an undersized guard. Like, I was really impressed. And again, we talked about this even before the season, like going back to the conversation we had on other pods and whatnot about what he could look like on the Pistons or leaving the Mavs or whatever when he was going to leave the Mavs. I did not expect him to be this good. So he's surpassed a lot of my expectation. For now, I think 3 would be the best for him, just because I don't know how much better he could be based on what we've seen already. Like, I don't know if he has another gear as a scorer, another gear as a defender. I kind of feel like what we're seeing right now is who he is. And that's why I have him 3, because I don't know how much higher his ceiling is based on the other 2 guys in front of him.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think so? We saw Luka and Kyrie in Dallas.
Yeah.
Based on the peak that we've seen from Jalen Brunson, do you think him and Luka, had they stayed together, would have been better than that combination of Luka and Kyrie?
That's a good question. I kind of think so. I feel like Brunson, well, granted, he don't have the handle that Kyrie has, obviously. Their games are still kind of similar. They're very good ISO scorers. When they're in space, you got a guy on the island, they can boogie, and they can also play catch and shoot basketball when they need to. Like, I was very surprised at Kyrie and Luka's ability to gel enough to get to the finals the way that they did together. And based on what we saw from Brunson when he was with Dallas before he left and went over to New York, he was carrying the water, and he was the best guy on the floor a lot of those games when Luka was injured. So, yeah, he's not a selfish player. He's shown the ability to play catch and shoot ball when he needs to. So yeah, I think it's possible. I think they maybe could have even won against Boston. Maybe not that season, but maybe another time if they were gelled and had some better pieces around them.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it today earlier, just like because yeah. Some of the comments say Brunson is nice. Somebody said Kyrie's a way better defender than Brunson. I don't know about way better, but he's. I will give him that he is better. I think that's fair.
Cool.
Luka and Brunson were nice together. Him and his dad just wanted him in New York. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay, so this is hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
Objectively, I have Cade at 3.
Okay.
And everybody here knows how I feel about my dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as of right now, especially based on what we just saw in the playoffs, it's hard for me to put Cade above Brunson, not because of what Cade didn't do, but because of Brunson did do.
Mm-hmm.
Late game situations, he outperformed. Him. And I think that's okay because this is Cade's first rodeo in the playoffs. There's a lot of teammates who also went through their first rodeo in the playoffs. So experience played a factor. I think right now Brunson is just a little bit ahead in his progression, but I think that's going to change next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cade is going to pass him next year. By the end of next year, when we're having this conversation, I think Cade is going to be above Brunson in these rankings. I think he's going to be the better player next season. And I think just because he had a lot of firsts this year, as far as first All-Star game, first All-NBA, a lot of firsts. So I think that's a lot to handle in one season, and then going to the playoffs with, a lot of guys you haven't played with before and a new coach. That's a lot. You got Brunson. He's played with guys, some of these guys all the way back to college. Mm-hmm. So the familiarity was just there. Right. And I think it was just, a lot of it is just circumstance. And so I think even with that, we still pushed him to nearly 7 games. Should have been at least 7 games. So, but I think just looking at the shot making with Brunson, like some of the shots he was making, people always talk about Cat in the shot, he was making ridiculous shots. But Brunson too, in that final game with Asar hounding him, with Schroeder hounding him, you don't often see Schroeder drop his shoulders. But some of the shots that Brunson was making, it's like, come on, bro. You know, like tripping under the basket, regaining his balance and pump fake, and he was in his zone. He was in his zone. He made more plays late. And I think that's the separator for me right now. Now, today. But I think going forward, I think Cade's ceiling is way higher. Right? I think his ceiling is the difference in their ceiling is high in the difference of their actual height. Like it's a different level of it. So I think right now I will go Brunson at 2, Cade at 3 today. Thoughts on that?
I'm cool with that. I'm not mad at that in any way, shape, or form, because I think they have two different arguments that kind of play in both of their favors. They're just different. So Brunson has, like you said, he has history on his side. He's been in the playoffs, has been the leading guy on 2 different teams when he needed to be. Got as far as the ECF. How far did they get when he was with Dallas? What, the semifinals or?
I know they won the
first round. Yeah, I think they won the first round. I forgot. I think it might have been Utah they played against.
I think they lost to Phoenix when they were there.
Okay,
yeah,
you're right. Yep,
when Phoenix went to the finals.
Okay, yep, you're right. So yeah, we've seen his past, even with his current status with New York, what he's done as the guy. Again, was one of the more clutch scorers in the game, one of the best scorers in the game. He got like a little bit of a post-up game to him for a shorter guard, which I like and pretty impressive to me. But Cade has the future. He has, like you said, the ceiling, which is higher. We know the decorated history that Brunson has already verified, but Cade's ceiling is way higher. I totally agree with you on that. I feel like Cade should be in MVP conversations as soon as next season. It'll only be his second year in the playoffs, assuming they get there. And again, even with what Cade did this year, while they may have lost and didn't win, he showed up every single game. Like, he was comfortable being the guy, even without, the granted help around him. I still think that adds to how great he can be in terms of what his ceiling is. So that's why I think his ceiling, I'm higher on his ceiling than what I've already seen from Brunson. And that's why I put him up over there.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, for sure. Because you don't think I feel the same. I feel like Brunson is not going to get substantially better, significantly, like defensively. He's not going to get any bigger. Right. He's not going to get any quicker. I mean, he's, what I mean? So it's just like, it's not really a lot that you can look to. What you got to do with him is just hope that he can maintain this level for as long as he can. Right. Exactly. But that his trajectory is no longer pointing north. And Cade is, He's just getting started. That's the scary part. That's the scary part for the league. So I think we're on the same page there for sure.
Yeah, we agree on that.
Yeah. Okay, so you got Brunson 3. So I know that means you probably have Cade 2.
Yeah, I value this may be unfair, but I feel like he's doing a good job of proving these questions wrong, or at least verifying them to be true. I'm more hopeful of the unknown for Cade compared to what I've seen from all these other guys. Again,
Gotcha.
I don't know how much better Donovan Mitchell is going to be in his career. I don't know how much better Joel Embiid is going to be. Like, Paolo is one of the few guys in this conversation, maybe him or the other young guys who can still take another step and be greater in terms of what their game is. But Cade, I think Cade has a case over the next 5 years to enter that best player in the world conversation.
I do
there's
too,
a
bro.
There's a reason he's getting mentioned now in those face of the league convos after what we just saw against the Knicks, his buzzer beater against the Heat. Like, and again, outside of him and maybe a couple other guys, like guys we just talked about, Trae Young, and some others who don't really play with other all-stars, there's also not a Jalen Johnson on the Pistons. Not yet, at least. Again, maybe Asar might be that in a couple years, but as of right now, he's not. So again, Cade is just working with so much newness, and he's still able to produce as an all-star. Even last year with the Monty Williams situation, where everything was terrible, he was averaging the same all-star numbers that Paolo was averaging, and people were just raving about Paolo at that time. So, yeah, I think Cade has just so much room to grow in terms of a shooter, as a defender, as a ball handler, as a scorer, a finisher. I just think if he finishes or improves in just 2 of those areas, it gets scary for him. He don't have to be a perfect player, but I feel like if he just rounds out on maybe 2-3 things in his game he needs to improve on, it's going to be a problem for the East. And I feel like we may see that very soon.
That's a great point, bro. I wanted to get to this comment. Mario knows. Says, no way is Brunson better than Cade. If Cade had Towns, OG, Bridges, he would have won a title. You could very well be right.
Maybe
Mario knows it, and I'm going to be hypocritical because I just made the reference about if Cade was in Cleveland, so I already go ahead and call me out. But that is a great what if. But all we can go off of right now is what we saw,
right?
And what we saw when they went against each other was, like I mentioned, Jalen Brunson performed better in those situations because he had the experience. I think had they came into the league at the same time and they both had a couple different playoff runs, it could have been a different series. And that's not even discounting the fact that New York had more to work with. He had more guys available. We didn't even have Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart. So those things, I think, is a very close race. And either way, whichever way you go, I'm not mad at you. The fact that it's this close already is the most important part. That's why these lists don't even really bother me that much, because we know that our trajectory, once again, is heading in the right direction. So they can have it right now if they want. But I think pretty soon it's going to be undeniable.
Yeah, these bozos have stopped putting him in Alex Caruso conversations and KCP conversations. Oh, he's number 67 in the league. Now we're in a conversation where even if he's not better than Brunson, he's being mentioned with the right people. So I have no problem if people say that Brunson is better. He has all the argument in the world. Like if Cade, like to me, when Cade's numbers or his shooting wasn't there, his playmaking was, or his defense was there. Like he was, or his leadership was there. He was making up for the areas in which he was struggling each game that they needed him. So like, again, if he would have had a struggle game, I would have easily said, nah, Brunson got it. But the fact that he still showed up and was able to kind of make up for the bit of the losses, they kept every single game close. There was no blowouts. So even if you're upset about the closing, he still had them in position. Him and the team had themselves in position to still win every single game against the Knicks. And that's got to mean something to these conversations. Yeah,
bro. It's not just the 25-8-8, which is crazy. We're saying it's not just the 25-8-8 for a guy who just got to the playoffs for the first time. But that's crazy, right? Because he still showed up. He wasn't perfect, but he played about as well as you could ask, a guy in year 4 in his first playoff series without the weapons that he needed. It'd be different if those guys were available. And totally different. This ranking might look different if those guys are available.
Agreed.
Because if those guys are available, we probably win the series, and then it's a different conversation, right? So Kenyatta says, what if we picked Jalen Green and Houston picked Cade? Yikes. That would be scary.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
And I
don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, it was plenty of idiots out there that wanted that to happen too. If you one of them, you need to be honest and come out now and say I was wrong. I'm sorry. Because we told y'all for the longest, Jalen Green is not that guy, and y'all didn't want to hear it. So if you was on that side, let it be known now. Come on.
Please. And that was a real conversation, too.
Yes.
It wasn't just one or two people. So I'm just glad that Troy Weaver didn't feel that way. Because we would be sick watching him over there right now. I'm not even going to talk about that right now. Kenyatta, what are you doing, bro? Like, why would you even go there? Just look at her. Houston will have. No, I don't know who Houston will have. I don't even want to think about it. We're not going to linger on that. All right. So let's move on to number one, who I think we all agree is Giannis Antetokounmpo at number one.
Wait, you mean Derek White's not number one? Derek White's not number one? No way. You mean Derek White, the almighty, unbelievable Derek White that I hear all offseason?
Chat, we went 30 minutes and 31 seconds. That is a record without hearing Derek White being mentioned by Eric Vincent on the Downtown Dew Show. Congrats on the record. Congrats. Bro, you were never going to let that die. And I honestly don't even blame you, bro. I don't even blame you. That was just some mess. Yeah, that was sick.
No, it's that's common sense. It should be Giannis. That's gonna be Giannis' spot for as long as he wants it. We keep hearing the rumors about the possibility of him not wanting to be around in Milwaukee anymore. So maybe that would change the conversation. Who knows in that conversation? But as long as he's here, he's the guy. Giannis is, one of the best players in the world, a walking 30-10, still one of the best defenders in the game. And he looks like he's built to where he'll be. Like, we talk about LeBron's durability and being able to play till 40. I think Giannis is going to be one of those guys to do the exact same thing. Like, I don't think he's going to be, much of a problem in terms of his stamina, his ability to stay healthy. He's done a great job of that basically his whole career. So, yeah, I think that's Giannis' safe spot, for quite some time at this point. I ain't mad at that.
Man, this all the more reason to have a guy like Isaiah Stewart in your team.
There you go. Yep.
As far, you know what I mean? Like he's going to be so important for however long both of those guys are in their respective cities. I think he's going to be very important.
Right.
I think he's going to be the reason that the streak of us not being able to beat those guys is going to be broken next season, because we haven't beaten them in I don't know how long, years in the regular season. But but just having Stu is going to be very, very important because of who's number one on this list. You're looking at the MVP candidate that we got to face at least 4 times because they're in our division every year.
Yep.
That's not counting the NBA Cup. It's not counting. That's just regular season. So having a guy like Stu is going to be important. And having those other guys like JD continue to work on his defense is going to be important. So, yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, for me, it's Giannis. I think he's going to have an MVP type season. Do you think he's going to get through the season, though? Because it's like you mentioned, there's been some whispers about him not being happy there, the trade they made and things like that, and letting guys go on the stretch provision, which is crazy with D. Lillard. Do you think he's going to make it through the season, or do you think he may at some point say, this ain't working, y'all? Let's get me out of here. Get me out west somewhere.
I think he'll make it through the season. I'm not very confident in Milwaukee's, outcome this season. I think they'll be one of the 6 playoff teams. I don't think they'll make the play in. I think they'll be probably 6th or 5th seed when they finish. Sorry. But I don't know. I don't see him. I don't see him asking out early. I don't see that happening. I think he's made a pretty good job of showing that he does care about being in Milwaukee. I haven't seen a whole lot from him publicly that's sharing that he's interested in maybe going somewhere. All these conversations are literally just rumors from other people. So
that's true.
Until I see something from him, I'm not super concerned about it right now. Obviously, for the Pistons' sake, it would be great if he did, but I haven't seen anything like that this year that he's actually interested. So I think he'll stick around. I think he'll be around for the year.
So I think you got a solid list, bro. I think it was all the same 10 guys, but just in a different order a little bit. But yeah, I think we agree on most of those picks, and I think it's gonna. I just can't wait for the regular season to start, bro. I can't 2 months away from training camp. It's it's gonna be. But
let me hear your list. Let me hear yours. I think I went through mine. What was your 10 through 1? If you got it.
Do I have my 10 through 1? I don't. I have my 10. I have my 10 through 1 for teams, but not players. So
okay, all right, no problem.
I'll drop that one next show. I had it, but I don't have it on me.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, we'll roll with yours for right now. You the guest, so we're gonna rock with yours.
No problem.
All right. Let's go Eastern Conference ranking. We're gonna switch up a little bit. So that's our second topic for tonight. So we're gonna be ranking the Eastern Conference teams heading into next season. So you already know, bro. A lot has happened in the East. Trades, free agent signings, injuries. The landscape is just very different right now in the East compared to last season. A lot of uncertainty with how these teams are gonna look. And so we are going to pull up the standings from last season, and we are going to look and start from the bottom. I don't think that'll take too long. I think we pretty much all here agree on the teams at the bottom who are going to be playoff bound, play-in bound, and who's not. But for the sake of, we're going to pull it up and look at it anyway. So here we go. All right. So let's start with the bottom five. Let's go 15 to 11. Do you think any of these teams here at the bottom, bro? You got Washington at 15, Charlotte at 14, Philly at 13, Brooklyn at 12, Toronto at 11. Do you think any of these teams can jump into the top 10?
Yeah, I do.
Who you got?
This is the hot take I was telling you about earlier.
Oh, shoot. It's the hot take.
At number 10, again, in the NBA, it's always one or two teams that's down at the bottom. We just saw with the Pistons that can sneak up and surprise everybody.
Mm-hmm. What you about to say, bro?
I think Charlotte could get that number 10 spot, bro.
Charlotte?
I'm so serious. I think the Charlotte Hornets could get that number 10 spot.
All right, talk to me.
I think, granted, I feel like a lot of their issues, there's definitely some issues in their infrastructure, but they're hurt all the time. I don't think it's a matter of talent in terms of what they have. Like, yes, they do need some help, but I think they have talent on this team, including some of the guys that just, brought in. I like Colin Sexton being on the team. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a guard that I was actually interested in the Pistons maybe taking a look at in need of a backup point guard. I thought he would have been really sufficient behind Cade. He goes over there. They add Trey Mann. You get LaMelo back healthy. Brandon Miller comes back healthy. Miles Bridges comes back. I think Grant Williams is somebody else that they missed for quite some time. A lot of their issues, great. I think Mark Williams leaving is going to be a problem. I think they do need another center because, Mason Plumlee's not going to cut it for as long as they need. He's 35 years old. But I think they have enough talent to kind of sneak into that number 10 seed. I think, I don't like the arguments people make about guys like LaMelo of he puts up these numbers, but he's not a winning player. Bro, what are you talking about? If he was on a winning team with those numbers, that team would be fine. So I'm not going to take that away or act like LaMelo can't win games because he's been in playoff or postseason positions before. I think they can sneak up past a lot of these. I'm not sold on Toronto. Brooklyn, I think, will be the worst team in the league next year. Yeah. Philly, I think. Did I have Philly up there? I think I had Philly up there somewhere else too. We'll talk about them in a second. But no, number 10 for me, I got Charlotte, man. I think they go surprise some people.
Wow. Okay, so question. If someone comes, someone must go. So who do you have dropping out from the 7 and 10 range? Or maybe 1 to 6 range? Who do you got dropping? Because it's gonna look a lot different. Go ahead.
Chicago. Okay. I think Chicago drops down for sure. I'm not sold with what they have. I don't know. I don't like their infrastructure, what they have. I think they lost Lonzo. I'm not sure what else they really did, to be honest, in the offseason.
Not much.
So, yeah, I'm not really impressed with a lot of what they're doing. I think they're going to have a tough time. When the Pistons was whooping on them in the regular season, I think that was an accurate representation of who they are right now. So, I don't think they have a bright future right now. I don't think they land in that play-in position at all. Not at all. I think they'll be around 12 or 13.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I was surprised by that Charlotte pick. I ain't gonna lie, but we'll see if they're healthy. I'll give them a shot. I gotta look at their roster again, but I still don't know if they're gonna crack the top 10. But we'll see. So who do you have? Let's start at 10. Who do you have at 10?
Yep, I got Charlotte at 10. That's my number.
You got
10
them right
team.
there. Oh, at 10. Yeah. Okay, got you. Okay.
Yep. I got them at 10.
Okay, I actually had the Sixers at 10.
Okay.
Yeah. This is assuming health. We just talked about, spent 5 minutes talking about how they don't have it right now, but this is assuming they're healthy. I think, or even somewhat healthy. We talked about the report on Embiid, and it's not looking really good by now. But I think if PG is healthy and Maxey is healthy, and the rest of those guys in the roster, I think they can sneak into the play-in. So that's kind of who I have moving up, and I have the Bulls dropping out the same way you do. I don't really think they're going to do anything. They didn't do anything, so I shouldn't believe they're going to do anything next year. So. Yeah, I don't think they even really care or seem to really care about winning right now. There's no real leadership. Yeah. There's no identity, culture, nothing over there. So just talking to some Bulls fans, that's kind of what I got. So, yeah, I think they're going to fall out. Who do you have at number 9?
I almost went with the Sixers, but I don't think they're going to stay healthy. I feel like they're going to deal with issues with their health for a while. I just think that's the way their makeup is. So I don't see them making the postseason. I actually looked back at my list just now. I don't have them in my top 10. I have the Heat at number 9. I like what they have. I think adding Norman Powell was really big for them. I think they can be as high as maybe 7. I think their ceiling is really a play-in team for right now. I think they could use a little bit more. Like, I'm not really sold on, all the pieces around them. Even though I like Hero, I think Bam is obviously a great player, but I still think they need a little bit more to kind of rise up further than these other teams in front of them. I got Miami right now at number 9.
I also have Miami at number 9.
Okay.
For some of the reasons you mentioned, I think the Norman Powell addition is going to be big for them. He was really big for the Clippers last year. He's a bucket getter. Was Davion Mitchell there last year? I know he's there now. I know he's with the Kings, but I don't know if he was there. I think he just got, because he's on the squad now. So I think he could be good for them. Nice defensive guard off the bench. Okay. And then they got Fontecchio, our guy.
Hey, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope he does well over there, bro. I really do. In a new environment, for whatever reason, it just didn't work here. For him, as far as consistency, hopefully he gets into a warmer environment. Maybe that helps him a little bit. Who knows? But I think he can have a bounce back year with them. Hopefully he does. But yeah, I have the Heat at number 9 for sure. I think they're gonna be a respectable play-in team that gets bounced.
Right. They'll fight. They'll play that Heat culture way, but I don't see them, lasting much longer than the play-in or maybe the first round. Yeah, I don't see much out of that.
Facts. Dwayne says, I see Chicago and Indy dropping. Devon says, I said Charlotte was a sleeper. Okay, E. All right.
Okay, I got some.
All right. Okay. Maybe I need to open up my eyes a little bit more. All right, let's see. Devon said, don't sleep on Miami. They'll be better of the better of the bad teams, and more moves will probably come. We'll see. And if don't do him like that. Don't do him like that, bro. Let's just wish him well and keep it moving.
One of these, that's it.
Just one of these, bro. And one of these. All right. So let's move to who do you have at 8, bro?
I picked Indiana. I got Indiana still in postseason contention. I really have a lot of respect for Rick Carlisle. I like what he did this season. Getting them all the way to the finals. They did a great job, even without Halliburton on the floor. I think TJ McConnell was a helpful piece for them. They had a lot of injuries that they dealt with too. I do think Miles Turner may, be a big deal in terms of them losing him, but obviously not having Halliburton is going to be a big deal too. But I still like Siakam. I like Nembhard. I like the wings that they have on that team. I think what's his name? The Ivy's op. I can't think of his name right now.
Ben. Ben.
Yeah, I think he can have a pretty productive season with, an opportunity in front of him with not having those minutes given to a guy like Halliburton. Again, I just think Carlisle does a really good job of keeping those guys balanced and honest on both sides of the floor. And I still think they'll be a team to be reckoned with in the East, at least for the postseason at 8 spot. I think they'll be over there.
So Pacers at 8. Okay.
Yeah.
I have the Celtics at 8.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's gonna be a down year for them, bro. JT being out, Porzingis being gone, avoiding the second apron. They were like, bye. It's crazy. Anthony Simon's in. I think that's going to help them for sure. He doesn't really play to their identity as far as defensively. So I think that may hurt him a little bit, but he is going to be the scorer for them, give him some scoring points with JT not being there. I think they'll be solid. They still got Al Horford. He's about 874 years old now. So, he'll contribute about, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists in 2 minutes. No, but I think they're solid. I don't really think they are going to fall off the map like many people think they are. I think JB is going to actually step up and have a really good year with JT being out. But I think they're just kind of a mid team, especially with JT being out. So we'll see.
I feel that.
Yeah. Let's move to number 7. Who do you have at 7?
I got the Bucks at 7.
Okay.
I wanted to move them up a little bit higher just off the will of Giannis, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't really like the makeup of their team. I do like them adding Turner in place of Brook Lopez. I think that's going to be help them a lot. But outside of that, I don't like their backcourt. I think losing Damian Lillard is going to be a big deal for them. I don't know what they see with Kuzma. I'm just not impressed with his game. I think Gary Harris was a nice pickup for them. They did some pretty nice things, but I don't think that's enough with, Kevin Porter Jr. and, some of the other guards that they have on that lineup. So I don't think that's enough. I got them at 7. They can maybe surprise some people just off of a unbelievable, year from Giannis, or maybe they make a big trade at the deadline or something. But as they stand right now, I think they're probably the 7th best team in the East.
Okay. Bucks at 7. Okay. I have the Pacers at 7.
Okay.
I think Miles Turner's going to be a loss. Hallie's obviously going to be a loss. But we always talked about their depth last year and how they did it together. And I think guys like Andrew Nimhard, who played point guard in college, who's very comfortable playing point when Hallie's not on the floor. I think him and Mathurin are going to get more opportunities. I think this is we're going to see how Ben Mathurin fits with this offense, just with this team, because you would see him oftentimes playing well offensively, but then getting pulled quickly because he missed a defensive assignment. Like Carlisle doesn't play that.
Right.
And I think, definitely. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to see how he fits. I think he can. It's going to be kind of remains to be seen. But I think they have guys who can step in, like for Miles Turner going, they have Obi Toppin. He may not be Miles Turner, but he's that kind of guy. He's rangy. He can shoot from long range. He's a good defender, interior defender. So I think they have guys who can pretty much like supplement at least most of what those guys going down brought. And I think they have, what I see them doing is kind of bringing guys in, kind of filling the roster, getting more depth for those positions that Toppin is going to be leaving and Mathurin is going to be leaving. I see them more so doing that. And then your guy McConnell is going to have to step up more. And I think he will too. I think given an opportunity, he can do even more than what he's shown. So I think they're going to have a solid, like the Pacers, not the Celtics. They're missing guys, but they're going to have guys who kind of step in and help them out. That's kind of what I see. That's why they have them 8-7.
Okay. Yeah,
all
I
right.
see that. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. Let's go to 6. So who do you have at 6?
I got Boston at 6.
Okay.
I think they're going to be still, a formidable team. I think it's possible that they maybe change their ways and don't rely on shooting 3-pointers every single possession. But I don't know, bringing in a flamethrower like Anthony Simons, maybe they still keep chucking it like that. I don't know. I feel like, having Tatum on the bench is going to be a big loss for him. Obviously not having Drew Holiday is going to be a big deal. They still have, a lot of their role players on their team that I think still fighting with nice roles defensively and offensively for them. And again, I'm really intrigued to see what Jaylen Brown does in the number 1 role. Like, again, I've always had convos with some of my homies where they brought out teams like, oh, what if Jaylen Brown was with the Hornets? How would he look as their number 1 guy? I just can't, stop thinking about how interesting that would be, because I feel like he's one of those prime kind of players. But I still think they'll be a good team. I think they're well coached. I think they still, commit to the defensive end. And, with championship pedigree and standards, I still think they're going to be able to fight, for Tatum and for, promising postseason contention. So, yeah, I still got them at 6.
I think that's solid. I mean, I think they have guys who, we talked about the Pacers, they have guys who can step up and kind of into bigger roles. Like you mentioned, JB, Derek White, your favorite player in the world. They have guys who can kind of, take a bigger step, kind of share the load a little bit more. So we'll see how that plays out. At 6, I have the Bucks. I think Giannis is going to have an MVP type season, bro. I think he's about to go like LeBron. What was it? LeBronto in 2018 when he just went crazy that whole year. I think he's going to have one of those kind of seasons where he just does everything. I can see him playing a lot of point. I think it's not going to be good for the team because they're not really going to go far in the playoffs. But I think he individually is going to have one of those seasons to where he's just stuffing the stat sheet every single night. 33 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. I think he's going to have one of those types of seasons because they're going to need him to. And like you mentioned, he's always taking care of his body. It seems like every year he looks a little bigger. Yeah. More like a freight train every single year. And everybody doesn't have Isaiah Stewart in their team. Right. So they don't have the resistance that we have. So I think he's going to make his living in the paint. And I think he's also going to show that because he's been working on his jump shot. We saw last season a little bit when the Pistons played them, that midi game, he was knocking that down consistently. It was annoying to watch. Yes. So he's going to continue to work on that too. So I think he's going to look like the best version that we've seen of him so far. And I think unfortunately for him, it's going to be in a year when the team doesn't have a chance to really win.
How many years, bro, have we seen bigs come out of nowhere and find their jump shot against the Pistons specifically? Whether it was DeMarcus Cousins, whether it was Brook Lopez, like these good, they just whatever it is about the Pistons, they find something in the water and they just get it going. So when I saw Giannis shooting that midi in that away game, I was sick, like, bro, why are you doing this? This is not you. Right. Don't stop. Don't turn into this guy now against us. But
bro, I remember when both of those guys did that, Cousins and Lopez, because he had Drummond so annoyed. Like, bro, are you serious? I remember that game. And then the Brook Lopez, he kept The little like, bro, get out of here, bro. After every three, he was so annoying, bro. Like, dude, you don't even shoot threes like that.
That was tough.
Like, when did you become the better twin? Anyway, but yeah, I think Giannis is gonna have one of those seasons where he just goes nuts. And he's gonna have to, because to keep his team afloat, like you mentioned, Kevin Porter Jr. is not really a point guard. He's more so a combo guard. Mm-hmm. So, I think, Giannis is gonna have to do that, and I think he will. I just think it's not gonna result in him having any long-term success in the playoffs, but he may be MVP.
I agree.
Let's go to number 5. Who do you have at 5? And now this is where it kind of gets interesting.
Yeah, it's just a little choppy right here.
Yeah.
I kind of want to switch right now. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Okay.
I got the Hawks here at 5, but I think that I almost put the Hawks at 3. I ain't gonna hold you.
What?
I really think.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on.
I did. I was close.
You had the Hawks at 3?
Almost. I had them there for a minute, but I took it back.
Sheesh.
I feel like they did a lot of good things this offseason. I like them adding Nickeil Alexander-Walker, adding another shooter in Luke Kennard, and then getting obviously Dyson Daniels, who I had for Defensive Player of the Year, getting Jalen Johnson back, bringing in Porzingis to kind of suffice for their center position, assuming he stays healthy, of course.
Right.
And then Ricochet showed a lot in his development last season. I think he can be a pretty important piece for them at that stretch forward position. He's only 20 years old. Like, I like a lot of what they have on this team in terms of what they've added around Trae Young. Again, last year it felt like it was like kind of just Trae, versus the field, but now kind of having so much more support around him, I think they can use him in some different areas as well. So yeah, I'll keep him at 5 for right now. Again, just because I'm not sold 100% on who I have at number 3, just because they look good on paper at number 3, but I don't know how they're going to look towards the end of the season. I like a lot about what the Hawks have compared to what my number 3 choice has. So for now, I'll stick with the Hawks.
3. I mean, I know you said almost, but still, that just I was like, whoa, the Hawks are 3? I don't think I've heard anybody say that yet. So if that proves to be true,
go ahead.
If it proves to be true, you're gonna be the only one that said it. Y'all heard
I got some hot takes. I told you I had some hot takes for you today,
bro. You weren't playing around. Sheesh. Okay. I hope that don't happen, because I don't think that'd be a good sign for. Anyway, yeah. If they're okay, so you got the Hawks at 5. I also have the Hawks at 5.
Okay.
I didn't think about putting them at 3, but I had them at 5. I'm just messing with you. No, but listen, I think the Porzingis addition is going to be the biggest factor in all of this. I just think about how Trae likes to play. He loves running the pick and roll, pick and pop. Having Porzingis as a pick and pop threat, bro, I think is going to open up it's going to give him so much room, because you can't lay off of Zinger. No. He can shoot that thing from out. You know what I mean? You can't leave him out there. Even when you're in his face, because he's 7'3", he still knocks it down. So you can't leave him open. What does that do for Trae? When he gets 2 feet in the paint, it's trouble. It's trouble. He's making the right pass, or he's putting that float up that you can't block. Like I think that's the biggest, the most important thing for them is Porzingis' health. The other guys you mentioned, Reza Shea, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, all those guys are going to make their name known for sure next year, even in a greater way. But I think Porzingis is the key for them as far as just opening up everything, because it all runs through Trae. So I think Porzingis being healthy is going to affect how guys like Reza Shea, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, how they perform. Because if he's not out there, it just kind of shrinks the floor a little bit, because they don't really have another stretch big who can defend the way Porzingis can. So we'll see. But I think we had him in the same spot at 5, so I'm not mad at that. Thoughts on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a huge elevation for Trae. I think playing with kind of a one-trick pony, what they had in Clint Capella for the past couple seasons, I think they kind of minimized what they were able to do offensively. So now when you have a guy that can at times play above the rim, it's not really his game. He doesn't, bang down low like that. But Porzingis' ability to create and shoot as a stretch big, from the outside, just having that threat in that space for all of them to create, because a lot of them can put the ball down too and create for others or go get their own shot. Like Dyson Daniels kind of grew with that. We already know Jalen Johnson has that in his bag. So they have a lot of, versatility in terms of how they can attack you offensively. Defensively is going to mean a lot as well. They're going to lean a lot on Daniels and Johnson, but I still think they have. Adding Nickeil Alexander-Walker is important for them too in that regard. So yeah, I think they did a good job in in adding a lot more support for Trey, so it's not all on his back to carry the way he did last season.
Right. I think that's a great point too. Good point, man. Yes, we both got the Hawks right there at 5. Let's go to number 4. Who do you have in the 4 spot?
I got the Pistons here at 4. Almost moved them up to 3. That 3 spot was very fluid with a lot of
What is it with 3 with you today,
I
bro?
don't know. I feel like it's
everything
a lot
in 3. What's up?
3. Yeah, there's a lot to be had at that spot. I feel like the Pistons. I wasn't super excited about their offseason, to be honest. But then again, a lot of people weren't super excited about what they did the season prior when bringing in Tim Hardaway and Tobias and Malik Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
I think Karis LeVert is underrated, and I think he can provide a nice spark for them off the bench as a scorer, and he can fill in a nice scoring role, in the mix of the starters around him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also think amongst the veterans that they have, I think Tobias is the most important out of the veterans that they have. I still think at that stretch 4 position with the improved defense he's been playing, the rebounding he's been doing, and obviously his veteran leadership, I think he's still the most important of the bunch that they had. So to me, it didn't hurt as much to see Tim Hardaway and Beasley was mad important. But again, I still just think Tobias gave you a little bit more in terms of what his game offered. And obviously what they're prioritizing is assuming the young guys are going to take one more step collectively to, be even more dangerous than they were last season. Obviously, we know what Cade represents. We're some of the few Ivy fans still out here in the world. I still think he's going to be I think he has the ability to come back and rebound to be that dangerous form that we saw last season. I think Asar can take another step forward with the full offseason under his wing. I think Ron Holland is going to see some significant production his way with Beef Stew. I love what Duran brought last season as a playmaker and an improved defender as well. I think the Pistons for right now, I think they can start at 4. But again, I'm cool with we're gonna get to the third team in a minute. But yeah, I think 4 is safe for the Pistons for right now.
So I also have them at 4.
Okay.
I got them right at 4 with you for a lot of the same reasons you mentioned. I think the Pistons, Trajan Langdon keeps saying it, his focus is growing around his core, building around his core. So I think he's just going to continue to add around the margin. He's going to continue to bring in guys to support the core. I think that's really what it's all about. I think it's huge that the Pistons now have a 3-guard rotation where all 3 guys can make plays for themselves and others. They haven't had that. They've had 2. They've had Cade and Schroeder, or Cade and Jaden, but they never had 3. The third guy was always Bees, and he was more so a shooter, right? But now we have 3 guys, Cade, Jaden, and Karis, who can all do both. And I think that makes you very unpredictable. It's part of what made Cleveland so unpredictable offensively is because they will play off of Karis willingly. D-Mitch and Garland will play off of him, give him the ball, and let him run the show for a few minutes to give them a blow, to let them rest. So that makes them hard to defend. I think that's a very key point. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think having guys like that, again, considering what we saw from Beasley, where he was, I don't want to say he was just primarily a shooter, but that's really what his main focus was. But knowing what Karis talked about, saying, hey, JB did a great job of helping my game evolve as a defender, as a playmaker, as a shooter. Like, that helps a lot. And we kind of saw that with the guys we were just talking about as well. Like, Beasley was doing a good job of, developing that little floater when this jump shot wasn't there. Tim Hardaway Jr. was scrappy as a defender. It seems like the Pistons prioritize guys being good at more than just one thing. Like, you're going to commit to defense. We might need you to step out and do a little bit more offensively as well. You have to be able to be unselfish and sacrifice for your guys, be willing to make that extra pass. And I feel like that still fits the mold of the guys that they just brought in with Karis and Duncan Robinson. They're great playing off ball, on ball if you need them. And I feel like Duncan's going to be that sniper that's shooting just as many threes as we saw from Beasley. So the opportunity is going to be there. I think he does a really good job of moving without the ball too, which is going to work for them. So yeah, I feel like they have a chance of still maybe not replicating the 300 threes that Beasley hit, but I feel like collectively, I think we could still see an elevated level of shooting from the team. I think they finished 17th in 3-point shooting last season. I think they can still maybe increase that to maybe like around top 10. With the improvement of the guys around them, thanks to Freddie V.
Nice. Yeah, I don't even think we would, if Bees was still here, hopefully he comes back if he's able to. If Bees was still on his team, we wouldn't expect him to do what he did last year. Like what he did last year was just historic.
Yeah.
So it's not fair to ask Duncan Robinson to come in and shatter that record or something crazy, because that was historical what he did last season, and props to him because he did it. But that's not what that was. He had a career season or a career year for a reason, and he was just in one of those zones. So shout out to him. But I also think that the Pistons, they're not going to start 0-4 next year like they did this year.
Right.
I think just having the familiarity and knowing who they are and how they play, where roles are already established, now it's about becoming better at what you do as opposed to figuring out what you are and what you're going to do for this team. That was what happened early. These guys are trying to win games on the fly while trying to discover and figure out what JB wants them to do and how he wants them to play. And then getting them to play that way consistently, like JD, right? Which we saw him start doing toward the end of the year. Mindset switch, right?
Yep.
And healthy, right? So like, I think that's the biggest thing going into this year is they know who they are. It's almost like, it feels like they're licking their chops for next season. Like they can't wait to get back into the grind, right? Because they know what they could have done last year had they been healthy, right? And had a few plays bounced differently against a team that went to the conference finals. So I think they see now, they have the confidence, they have the experience, they got the taste. Now they want more. And now they know who they are. And now they know how to go get it. I think that's the biggest difference between this year and last year for the Pistons. And that's why I had them 2 spots higher than they finished this year as far as record.
Yeah, I think Cade talked a lot last year about basically everybody on the roster having a chip on their shoulder. That chip is still there now. Like that doesn't go away. I don't think they're satisfied in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, Ivy is hungry to get back out there. Beef Stew is hungry to get back out there. And the guys that were playing, they went through those games. Like we saw how mad Tim Hardaway Jr. was when he got robbed of that no call in game 4. Like we saw that every single game meant something to these guys. And I feel like they're going to carry that same demeanor of this is all business. And I think JB does a really good job of that. He doesn't let guys look ahead. Whenever we try to ask him questions about, hey, well, how do you, take in the moment for what you did compared to last season? We don't even think about that. We have more important things to worry about. We have bigger goals to worry about. We'll reflect when it's time, but we're focused on the mission at hand. And I think he does a really good job of making sure the guys are dialed in with that mindset. And I feel like we're going to see that as soon as early next season too. As long as they can play, I feel like at least 60 plus games, we can see some dangerous stuff out of the Pistons next season.
Yeah, I think we can see it. I have them at 50 wins for next season. Where do you have them?
Man. I think I don't have an exact. I think they'll range between 45 and 50. I'm gonna wait for the schedule to come out, but I think they're capable of getting 45 to 50, and I think that's a W based on where they were last season. I feel like that mark is a definite sign of improvement, and wherever they land on the standings will be. But I think that'll be safe for like around 4 or 5, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get them to 4. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we went to 4. Obviously we got our Pistons right there. Who do you have at 3?
I got Orlando there, but I don't love them right now. I think they look good on paper. Again, I like some of the talent on there. I really love Paolo Banchero. Franz Wagner has really stepped out as a big time player, and they have a lot of size and length on that team. But I need to see their offensive cohesion come together, and I haven't seen that. Like them being one of the best defensive teams in the league last season was huge, but they were one of the worst offensive teams. Now, granted, you get rid of Cole Anthony, you get rid of KCP, which is one of their big investments from the offseason. That didn't pan out well at all. And bringing in Desmond Bane is a big lift for, replacing those guys. And I think he does a good job of having the ability to create his own and take some pressure off of Franz and Paolo in the front court. Franz has got to step up as a three-point shooter. He's not the best distance shooter. Paolo can be a little inefficient as well. And I think that's going to be a big important deal for them out of that big 3 that they have. Again, I think they're a good team. I think they can be had again. I'm not saying that they're just like unbeatable. I know a lot of people are loving what they are on paper, but I do still think they can be a beatable team based on what their unit looks like right now.
Okay. Getting to these predictions real quick. Chat says, Dwayne said, I can see 50 wins too. Devon says 52 at best, 46 at worst. Kenyatta says JB's not losing 30 games, bro. I ain't mad at it, Kenyatta. I love it. Cool, I can see it though. So you told me, okay, so give me a number though. You can't just say how many he's not going to lose. Like how many is he going to win? Right. Let me know, Kenyatta. You got to give me a number. I like what you had to say about the Magic. I also have them at 3. right there, the same spot. I think that's the third in a row. We were the same one there. But yeah, Desmond Bane in, KCP out, Cole Anthony out. He's now with the Bucks, so now we got to see him 4 times, at least, maybe even a fifth. We'll see. But yeah, so I feel like they, like you said, on paper, are a good team. The fit looks like it makes sense. Adding a guy like Bane. I think they're going to be a really good team, though. I do. I think the defensive intensity and how they play is very similar to how the Pistons like to play. They like to play physical, obviously. They definitely like to get after you. They dive for a lot of 50-50 balls, obviously. But yeah, I think they're a really good defensive team, and I think the offense and the health now of having Franz, and Mo, and just having all these guys finally healthy, I think is going to be big for them. I just need to see it though before I put them any higher. I got to see how it looks, because sometimes it takes a little period of time for guys to get used to each other, get used to how they play, things like that, just getting that consistency and camaraderie. It takes a little minute, and it usually happens at the beginning of the season. We saw it happen last year with our Pistons, right? So who's to say that they couldn't start 0-4 to start the season? You just never know. It takes a minute for sometimes for teams to get going. But I do think they're going to be a top 3 team just because of the offense. They really did help with getting Desmond Bane over there. I think that was a huge, one of the biggest pickups, I think, in the offseason, maybe even after the KD move, was getting Desmond Bane in Orlando.
I think I really need to see who their point guard is going to be too. I feel like they brought in Tyus Jones, which is a good acquisition for him. Jalen Suggs I think he plays more of a shooting guard role, but with Desmond Bane there, that's where he's going to be at. So I don't know who they're going to start. I feel like they still could be a point guard away from really, being a surefire elite team in the East. There was rumors about Kobe White, being on the move, and I thought that would have been a slam dunk acquisition for him. But Desmond Bane is a good pickup too. I just want to see who their point guard is going to be. Because I do see a place where they could be as high as 3, but I could also see them maybe dropping as low as
6.
Yep, that's the exact number I was going to use. Yep, 6.
Yeah, I'm with you there, bro. Yeah, so we just gotta wait and see. Like we said, it looks good on paper. Hopefully those guys can, for their sake, stay healthy, and we'll see how it works out.
Thanks.
Number 2, who do you have? Okay, so last 2. I think I have an idea of where you're going, but you may surprise me. Who do you have at 2?
You want me to go or you want to go?
Oh, it's all you, bro.
Okay.
Come on. You haven't figured it out yet. You stalling.
No, I have. I just want to make sure I say it right. That's all.
All right, come on.
I got the Cavs at 2, bro.
Okay.
I'm not. Something about them is just it. I don't know. I like the team. I like their makeup. I like them picking up Lonzo Ball. I think that's big for him. DeAndre Hunter was a nice scoop as well. But something about them still just makes me not like. I don't know what it is. I don't know the injuries that they keep dealing with, but that front court to me, I'm not all the way sold on. Even the back court too. I like Garland and Mitchell together, but defensively they can be had. And I feel like defensively with Evan Mobley, as good as he is, like I just said, I've seen him get pushed around by bigs. I saw him get pushed around by Beef Stew last season when they played him they had Tobias and Cade and Ivy. With all 3 of them out, I saw him and Asar push him out of the room. Like that's sticking in my craw for some reason.
Still had him on skates.
He did, yeah. Like I need to see again. I like him. I think Mobley is one of the best defenders in the league, but I'm just like people still call him that generational defender, and I just don't see that. I feel like you can still attack them. You can attack their wings, and I feel like they're a good team still. I feel like they do a good job of coasting through the regular season. They're kind of like what the Suns were to me back in the day in the West. Like really good in the East and Western Conference in the regular season, but when it came time to tighten up in the playoffs, they weren't the same team. And I feel like I kind of get that same vibe from them looking at who they are now. Again, they're a good team. I think losing JB is kind of a big deal for them because you kind of see a little bit of that like structure go away when they play against these tough teams. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I got them at 2 for right now based on where the East is.
Okay. Well, since you went there, my answer is going to obviously give it away if I go the other way. So I actually have the Knicks at 2.
Okay.
But let me just get to the Cavs part since you went there with it. And I think that's a good pick there. I'm judging this off of regular season.
Okay.
Personally, I can see you kind of going more so playoffs and who maybe go deeper, but I think they're the best regular season team in the East. I don't think they're built for the playoffs. I think they're a little bit too. I don't know. They don't look as functional. They don't look as functional as they should. I don't think in the playoffs when teams have the opportunity to study you, for more than just 2 days. When they have a week to prepare for you, 2 weeks to prepare for you. I think they don't look as functional as they should. They have a lot of talent, but they don't seem to all function well in the playoffs. I think when you're playing every other night against teams, you can kind of catch teams off guard with your speed and things like that. But I think come playoff time is when they really kind of get exposed.
Yeah.
And that's why I have them. I have the Cavs number one on this list as far as regular season teams, because I think they're going to be a good regular season team, just how they were last year. But I don't think they're going to be the last team standing in the East in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for this list, I do have the number one and I have the Knicks two. So since you have the Knicks one, tell me why.
I'll kind of go off of that same mind frame. I like the breakdown of it because we don't know who they're going to face in the postseason. But yeah, based on the landscape of how it's going, I would say the Knicks would be number one. Again, I like the cohesion that they got. I really like them adding Jordan Clarkson in the offseason. I think they were a team that needed another scoring punch, and I think he's a perfect piece for them, whether it's off the bench or start, wherever he's at. I think is very, very productive for them. I think Brunson is going to be big. Last year, I picked him to win MVP. I like Brunson's game when he's not flopping and foul baiting in exaggerating ways. I still like Mikal Bridges. I think I got to give my hat off to Cat. Like he's a troll. His voice is funny. Yeah. We know what the jokes are.
Bro, he's so annoying, bro.
He is.
I know. I didn't mean to cut you off. I had to let that go. Oh my God, bro.
He is obnoxious, but he played like he was ready to silence all of that conversation, and he did. I ain't gonna lie. Like the Pistons made him earn every tough bucket that he threw up. Like Tobias did a really good job. Yeah, JD did a good job sticking on him. And when he put his shoulder down and had those like awkward like steps to the hoop, he still found a way to knock a tough basket down or get to the free throw line. He was impressive to me. His defense obviously still leaves a lot to be desired, but I think considering how much of a threat he is offensively, and like I wish they would. I'm glad they didn't play much of last season, but they didn't play a whole lot of the two big lineups with Mitch Robinson next to him. I think they did a little bit. But I feel like that's more of what their bread and butter should be, because it then takes a lot of responsibility off of Cat, who's not a 5 or a rim protector. Now, obviously, Mitch Robinson's a bad free throw shooter, so it kind of, makes it funky for him. Right. But I still think Cat did a really good job of answering a lot of the calls that were, brought onto him about the postseason. Even OG Anunoby, I think he did a really good job coming on strong towards the end of the year and in the postseason as well. So I think they have the ability to repeat that with Mike Brown, who I think is a little bit of a better coach than Tom Thibodeau was. Yeah. Again, I don't know how long it's going to last, but for next season, I think they can come in pretty motivated and get that 1 seed.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. Michael Husser says, Kenny Atkinson is a poor man's Flip Saunders, whose coaching style always gets figured out in the playoffs. First of all, RIP Flip Saunders.
Sure.
But let's talk about it, because I think Michael Husser makes an interesting point. When you think about it, Flip Saunders had KG for, I think it was 7 or 8 years, and he couldn't get them past the conference finals. I know they lost to the Lakers, who lost to us, but he couldn't get them over the hump, get them to the finals. But they had great regular season records. Fact. And you look at when he came here and coached the Pistons, he coached the Pistons, led them to their best regular season record in history. That's 64-18. So once again, get to the playoffs, and they lose in the conference finals to the, you know what I mean? So in multiple years, they lost in 06, 07, and 08. He could never get over that hump. 06 lost to the Heat, 07 lost to the Cavs, 08 lost to the Celtics. So he just couldn't get him over that hump. And I think Michael Hustle makes a great point, is that certain schemes, certain coaches, certain systems are harder to figure out and some are easier to figure out. And I think that's why you see a lot of teams having, great regular seasons, or maybe just the personnel is easy to figure out over time. You know what I mean? The players that are on those teams. So I think that's a great point, Mega Hustler. And that's kind of why I was saying that I think the Cavs could be number one on this list, but not be the last team standing when we get to the NBA Finals. I don't think they're going to be that team. But you make some great points about the Knicks. I do think, just like how you said, that Jordan Clarkson addition is going to be big for them. We know that, Coach last season would not play a lot of guys. I think he would play like Deuce McBride here and there. He played Campaign here and there, but he really never had a guy off his bench that he could go to consistently and say, give me a bucket. Yeah. And I think Jordan Clarkson can be a guy who can do that other than when he's being guarded by Ron Holland. But I definitely do think that is a big addition for them. And yeah, and once again, the playoff experience. If we're talking playoffs, I think they're a much more dangerous team than the Cavs because they have the experience. They've been there. They've been in deep runs. And I think they have a pretty much a team, a coach, and a system that is harder to defend than something like the Cavaliers. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I definitely am not mad at that pick of the Knicks being there at number 1 and the Cavs being number 2. I think we both had the Magic at 3, Pistons at 4, Hawks at 5. And then you had, give me your 6 through 10 again.
My 6 through 10. 6, I got Celtics. 7 are the Bucks. 8 are the Pacers. 9, I got the Heat. And number 10, I think the Hornets will shock everybody and get to the play-in.
Bro, I'm still trying to come to grips with that Hornets pick, bro. You may make a fool out of me, bro, for calling you out on that. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I want to believe in LaMelo. I don't know, bro. Like he seemed when you compare the mentality of a LaMelo and a Cade, it's like night and day.
For sure.
And it's just like I need to see more Cade and LaMelo, more seriousness as far as how he takes it. Like I understand he plays free, he has fun, but at a certain point you gotta lock in and be a little bit more mature. That's just me. It may not even affect you on the court. I just kind of see it on the court too with some of the passes he makes and some of the wild plays he makes. It's just like I just need a little bit more consistency. The talent is there. It's just that's the only thing I worry about with him. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. Again, I definitely think a lot of his play style, I don't want to say it comes off as goofy, but I feel like it's hard for a lot of his teammates to kind of get used to playing with it consistently.
That could be.
So again, I love Brandon Miller a lot. I really wanted him in 2022. I think he's a perfect piece for them, and I think he can really step up this season. I think they've done a really good job of kind of adding some other guys in the offseason. Getting Bridges back, I think, will be helpful for him.
Yeah.
And again, the bottom of the East, I think, is just horrible. Like I think I saw somebody in the comments talk about Toronto. I don't see it with Toronto. I don't see either. I think Brandon Ingram is going to be who he's been. I think he'll probably be hurt again at some point. And then Scotty has to be their number 1 guy, and we know that's not his role. Right. I don't think they've added a lot either. Again,
RJ Barrett, right? Isn't he over there too?
Yeah,
they got a bunch of guys that do a lot of same, a bunch of repeats on their team. To me, it just doesn't fit.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. So I'm not looking at them. I don't think Chicago's any kind of a threat. Philly, again, that's a team that really has to stay healthy. And even when they do, I don't think they have as much collective talent to me. I mean, you could argue, I guess, maybe because Embiid is who he is, and there's a lot of super talented guys on the Sixers, but I feel like a lot of them have kind of seen their better days. Like Paul George is not getting better. Embiid, I don't think is getting that much better. And Tyrese Maxey is fantastic, but I feel like he's kind of capped in the system that he's in with those other guys around him. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's open for somebody, and I feel like the Hornets could be that surprising team.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad pick. I mean, it's talking about the 10 spot. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be any of those teams who could surprise and move from 15 to 10. So, we'll see what happens. But listen, bro, we appreciate you pulling back up to the show, man. We are about 2 months away from the start of training camp, man, which begins in October. Looking forward to everything that you're going to have going on this off season. For those who are not already tapped in with my man, Eric Vincent, how can we keep up with you and what you are doing this offseason as you prepare for training camp what's coming up?
Man, I appreciate the time, man. Y'all can lock in with me on my social media at I am Eric Vincent. You can see it on the screen right there. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all of the above. I try to put as much of my content on my socials as I can. So you can lock in with me on my socials at I am Eric Vincent. I'm the Pistons beat reporter at clutchpoints.com, as you see on the screen. So you can check out my writing on the site here. We might have some other stuff in the works with some of the outlets in terms of our coverage on Clutch Points. You can lock in with me on there. I also have my own YouTube page as well. It's Top Title Detroit. I'm trying to ramp my way up, getting close to 500 subscribers. I'm trying to catch Deuce. I'm a little far behind, but I'm doing my best to kind of catch up to him. So if y'all want to help out the cause, I appreciate that. that. So you can follow me on there at Top Title Detroit on my YouTube page. I would appreciate that.
And y'all heard the man. Go do that. I'll put a link in the description too to make it easier for y'all. So listen, man, that's a wrap, if I can talk, for tonight's episode. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night for another special guest on the show, first timer on the show. So you guys make sure that you have your notifications turned on for that. But until then, we appreciate everybody for showing up and showing out. Oh, come on, King Yada, real quick. Favorite Piston. Okay, real quick, favorite Piston. My favorite Piston of all time is Isaiah Thomas. Who's yours?
All time. Oh man. You know what? I gotta say Jerry Stackhouse, man. I think Stack might be my favorite all time. I remember like loving Jordan and always wanting the Pistons to kind of have their own Jordan. And I remember watching Stack fly in the dunk contest, even though he didn't win. And you know, he was just an athletic machine and could score like none other. So I loved watching Stack play, and even bringing him in for Rip Hamilton, I was okay with it. But yeah, Stack is.
Was that when
Stack
he was going against Franchise and Vince? Was he in that dunk contest?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was the one. Yeah,
Sheesh.
That was the one where Vince won the all-timer. Yeah, he was cooked on that one. And he brought out he had the maroon jersey too. I'm like, oh no,
not a good look. Not a good look. I turned the TV off, bro. I couldn't even do it.
That wasn't good.
That's a good pick. Shout out Stack. Shout out Stack. You don't hear that every day. She said, wow. Yeah, you don't hear that every day. That's cool. Last one. Dwayne says, of all time, I didn't get a chance to watch Zeke, so I got to say Grant. Not a bad pick at all.
Okay.
Zeke, Grant, Cade, Jody, Ben, Chauncey, Rip. Like, it's a lot of good picks in there. Rodman, you can go however you want. Cade, you know, if you're newer generation, whatever. So I ain't mad at it.
Absolutely.
Whoever. So I ain't gonna. I could go all the way down the list, but yeah, you already know. Sure. Jody, yeah, y'all know what it is. All right, man. So we're gonna get out of here, guys. Once again, we appreciate you guys showing up and showing out as you guys always do. And make sure to tune in tomorrow for that special guest I told you about earlier. But until then, we will catch y'all on the next one. And y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
And when you knock me down, I'm getting back up. Cause when I step on the floor, you know your time's up. I'm on my way up and I'm not gonna stop. We headed straight to the top in the know. I gotta face it, I got no time to waste it.